Keep Hope Alive here, also known as Rich Fedvik. I'm going to take some water. I'm going to pour it on one of these fast rings. I did it at the end of a video. The point here is we're talking about putting stuff like this in a door. Initial results are pretty good, right? We see some beading. We can see that the water isn't immediately trying to soak in, but you know, we'll knock it off. However, we do notice it is still damp. So this foam, like all foams, don't do a very good job of preventing a lot of water moisture. Now we can go towards, this is a closed cell foam sheet called Ensolite. So if we pour a little bit of water on this stuff, we can see we get kind of a similar performance here. We get some beading, we knock it off, and we still get a little bit of moisture that's kind of hanging on. This product isn't as thick, so it doesn't have as much of an opportunity to absorb in. Like if I press on this, you can see water kind of pulling by my finger. Being a little bit thinner, it doesn't do the same. It does a little bit better job. You'll see manufacturers saying, put this stuff indoors because it absorbs sound. I wouldn't, because I don't like trusting anything that absorbs water. Instead, I put fiberglass or Ultra Touch recycled denim products, but I put them in bags, because what happens when we put anything that absorbs water in a bag, it no longer absorbs water. So put it in a plastic bag. Sound will get through, don't worry about that. I use fiberglass ceiling tiles whenever possible. This is my preferred method. If you can buy them, these are $6 for a 2 by 4 foot piece. It's enough to do both doors, 100% coverage, some $3 worth of 1 mil plastic painter's drop cloth, and bam, you got yourself acoustical panels in your door. Now take this stupid piece of white pebble stuff and take that off. We don't use this. We just want this. But if you don't want to use that stuff, you can use Ultra Touch. They make this in a rigid form. They make this in a loose bat form. But while you can use these are sold. A lot of installers use them. You can also just use the $2 or $3 replacement, which is a closed cell foam rubber gasket. If you have this much of a gap between your speaker and your door, you should probably build a panel or a better baffle, and if you compress it down too much, you can see it will try and pillow out. This can push against your surround, ruin linearity, and possibly damage the voice coil. So be really careful when you use something that's this thick, because you really should be using it for a gap that only compresses it just enough to create an airtight seal. But even then, it likes to pillow. You really should have a much smaller gap, and you should use, in my opinion, something like a rubber foam or a much more dense gasket that's going to create a nice firm rigid seal while also not folding in on the cone. Anyway, if you got any questions, let me know.